What's up,
Oh,
buddy?
from South Main
What
Studio,
up, brother?
right
What are you
from
saying,
the
buddy?
fucking, right from the Hamilton Mecca, right there. That's the
Yeah,
fucking.
man. I knew you were gonna notice this, eh?
This is the
I'm at
fucking
fucking
museum
studio
of.
right now.
This is the Hamilton Hip Hop Museum right here.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, I bet you
I'm on
Burns.
the I'm on the couch, man. I'm on the where it started.
Yeah, man. I've slept on that couch. Mad
Yeah,
times.
yeah. Mad times. I don't
Burns
know
is
if I want
probably
to sit
right
here
there.
now.
He's probably right there rolling his fucking weed with his tobacco right now. It's fucking
Yeah, he
acting.
is. Yeah, he's
He's
pot.
doing that right
He's doing his popper
now.
spliffs.
Yeah, man. Well, at least he's not doing poppers somewhere, man.
No, man, I can't. My lungs can't handle that no more.
Yeah, man.
I
So,
never I never
yeah,
mixed it.
yeah. Me, like, I'm not I don't smoke cigarettes, so like that tobacco, like, fucking just kills me, like,
Yeah,
you
I
know.
do. Like I smoke cigarettes, but like I'm fucking I got to do it one or the other. I can't mix the two, man. I need that filter. I need to get rid of some of the shit that's in it.
Right, right. But yeah, so yeah, we're supposed to have been done this, but better late than never, you
Yeah,
know.
man, I know.
So
Well, like I'm just getting back into music too, man. Like I took like a 5 year break. I had a kid. I fucking did a lot of things, man. So like this year's been huge for me though. Like I've done so much fucking work in the last.
I don't know what's going on with Burns' house. It happened last week too. Uh, the audio sounds weird, but
Yeah, I got my I can take my headphones out. Like I got my earbuds in, so maybe that's what's fucking you up. But
maybe let's try that.
okay, here, let me sec. Is that any better?
Yeah, that sounds better for sure.
Okay, cool.
Boom, boom.
What's up?
So yeah, so when I was interviewing Burns last week, he was saying he's like, man, there's certain people around here that are just putting in work right now. He's like Josh Fisher. Josh Fisher, he's one of the guys putting in work. So I was like,
Yeah,
man, you gotta get you
yeah,
on this.
it was pretty crazy, man. Like, I got laid off from my job in April because of COVID. Like, everything got locked down, and like, I was doing shipping and receiving for like a company. They make like bar coasters, like those like cardboard bar coasters for bars,
Yeah,
and like no one's buying that shit now. So like, there hasn't even been any work. Like, I'm actually going back to school to be a welder now because like there's still no work. But like, I had all this extra time. I went from like being so busy, like, being a dad and working fucking 10-hour shifts every day to basically having like nothing to do. So like I downloaded like FL Studio and again, and like, like my buddies always told me like, you gotta start trying to make beats and produce. And so I just started fucking with beats. I had like all day to do it, and then like, and then eventually I had like 20 fucking beats, and then I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? And then so I just started writing, and like I literally made a 10-track album in like 2 months, and then like I was coming here 2 to 3 days a week, 2 hours at a time, fucking 2 tracks an hour. Like just recording, and then we did all like mix and master. Yeah, we crushed the whole album in like 3 months.
that's how it's done at South Main Studios, Joe. That's
Yeah,
how it's
like
done
just,
that.
I went from like not making any music for 5 years to like making a whole fucking album in 3 months, and now I'm still making stuff like every week with him. It's doing good.
It's crazy how there's like a whole pandemic thing has changed. Like a lot of people just getting back to like I find like people are really trying to like just get back to like the shit they love, like
Well,
or really
yeah,
like
I just needed something so I'm not sitting at home, like, just sitting in a room, like, depressed. Like, I think that's what a lot of people are doing right now. Like, they're at home, they're isolated from their family and their friends, and, like, they get real depressed. And, like, if you don't do something to keep you busy and occupy your time, man, like, you'll go fucking loopy. And,
well, like
and you have to keep busy and do something, like, for yourself.
like what I was saying is like that shit in your mind that you always want to do. You're like, oh man, I'm busy, I'm tired, I'm like, I don't got time to do between this and this. and it really just kind of opened things up, and where it's like, oh well, all these things I wanted to do for all this time that I didn't have time for, now it's like, now it's time. So yeah. So when did you originally start rapping?
Oh fuck, buddy. Probably I started writing when I was like 12 years old. I started doing shows when I was 15. I was doing like all ages events. Like I wasn't even old enough to drink. And those were probably the craziest times, man. I used to rap with a group called Steel City Riders. Like I don't know if you knew who those guys were back in the day. Like one guy like Chick One, Bowman, Kronz, Damian Jones. All those guys were doing a lot of shows for like this real shady promoter that he ain't around anymore. But yeah, we were all like 15, high school, like doing that. I was making mixtapes and just, doing what most of the Hamilton rappers are doing, right? Like just rapping on YouTube beats and trying to like perfect my craft. But yeah, like I was just saying to Burns, I'm like, man, I can't believe it. It's been like 15 years since I did my first show. Or 16 years now, 31. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely it's definitely crazy. Like me too. Like I started getting into music like right at 15. I was like the year 2000.
Yeah.
I started rapping, and then I started like just going and doing all these different things, and then I landed on media, and people were like, "Oh, you're pretty good at that." So make sure you keep that going, But yeah. So at one point, did you try battling?
Battling, I think I started that about like 10 years ago. But I started out when it was like really fresh. Like I did, my first battle was in Toronto. I was trying to get into the Toronto scene. So like a good way to get into the Toronto scene is to do battling. So I did Ground Zero Volume 4, which is like King of the Dots, like amateur league.
Yeah.
And then I did a shit ton of beast modes. I went out to Calgary, and I did Ground Zero there. Yeah, and like I did that for a while, man, but it wasn't really something that translated really well with what I do, because like I'm more of a poet, man, and like I'm very structured the way I write, and I'm always playing with words and doing different things, and when I would battle, it would kind of almost sound like I'm doing a verse, because we were doing like written leads, and like I didn't really know how to do it like the way that like battle rappers rap, and they find that a lot, man. Like if you notice, a lot of those like battle rappers, like the guys who were big, like they don't even have an album, because like it doesn't translate well. It's either you're really good at one thing or you're really good at the other thing. So I kind of gave that up, but
yeah, there is some that are good at both, but it's rare.
It's very rare, yeah.
It's definitely rare, and it's definitely hard to like even like at times like people wanted me to battle when I was rapping and putting out songs, and it was like I don't know, it's like a whole different thing, right?
Yeah. Well, and battle rappers, they almost rap like they're talking a speech, right? So there's a lot of breaks, and it's like you gotta like break it up and work the crowd, and there's so many other elements. You know what I mean? Like I love just coming in this studio, man, and just killing it and just writing songs and just making things for people, right? Like I've never been I've had bad anxiety, man. So like I get really nervous when people got like cameras all over me and I'm in a big fucking crowd and I got that pressure on me, and like I don't enjoy that, whereas like I really enjoy making music, right?
Yeah, so Chantel's on here. She says, are you doing a Christmas album?
No, not at all. There was a joke about that the other day, because I think people thought I wrote it, but like I posted this really long thing. It was like about like Christmas in Hamilton or something like that, and it was like a really long, just fucked up like night before Christmas thing, and like but it's actually just something that like people like you could literally just take the town out and just put it like your town. And it was just like a chain thing that I shared. But now everyone's like, "Oh, you're making a Christmas album?" Like, no, I'm not doing that. I think that's corn. Like, I'm not doing it.
Like, yeah, like, if you're gonna make a Christmas album, like, let's do like a brainstorm. Like, what would be like the title of the Christmas album though, if you're gonna do one?
I don't know. I think it would be like a ghetto Christmas. Like I would make it like just gritty Hamilton version of a Christmas album. I think if I was gonna do a Christmas album, which I never would, but like my music's pretty raw. Like I don't know. Like have you listened to my music over the years?
Yeah.
I'm kind of known as like being like that real. Like I'm a really nice guy if you talk to me, man. But like in my music, I'm a fucked up dude. Burns, yeah, I can hear Burns laughing in the other room. Like, yeah, he calls it family music. Anything but.
Yeah, I definitely yeah, like well, like at times like Christmas can change a lot of things, and you've been rapping for some change, so you know.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I leave that shit for Michael Bublé or whoever the fuck likes making Christmas albums, you know.
Right.
ICP, they can do that. I'm sure they've done one over the years.
So like, who are some of like your influences?
My biggest is Jedi Mind Tricks, like Vinnie Paz. Like I actually got a tattoo, man. It's Jedi Mind Tricks. But like I grew up on because I grew up on the age of like, you know, when we had like LimeWire and all that, and like those were all the dope rappers that nobody knew about, right? Like, you know, like Necro and Ill Bill and Vinnie Paz and Army of the Pharaohs and Immortal Technique and like all those guys. Like those guys were a huge influence on me.
Yeah, I
like
remember.
Marshall Mathers LP was like huge when I was a little kid. Like that was like the album that like you hid from your parents and listened to, and like everyone knows every word of it. And,
Right. Yeah, definitely. So like, who would be your top 5 Hamilton rappers?
I don't know. I really like. I love like what Maloney does. Like I like Maloney because Maloney's really old school.
Okay,
Like,
well,
and I love this new I love this new video. Like I posted that today.
yeah.
I like all like what those Breaking Records guys are doing, like because they're still keeping the roots and like they got the old school beats and the old school like flows. Obviously like Burnsy, like I love Burnsy shit. Like I tell Burnsy like he's the king of the hook. Like he can be like selling hooks for big
sure.
money. You know,
He puts them right in. He puts
Ricky,
that
like
fish out and he just, you know.
yeah, like Richie Finesse, like fucking, he's
For sure.
killing it. Like and even Burns says that too. You know, he's one of the most dedicated dudes in this studio. Like he's fucking murdering it all the time. Like I love that song. He's got. Have you seen that sliding video he does?
I'm not sure if I've seen it.
It's so sad. Look it up if you haven't seen it. But it's
I always check out his shit. So yeah, but
yeah.
he's definitely
yeah.
he's definitely
Tricks is good. Like my cousin Tricks, like he's fucking been killing it for a long time.
nice. That's your cousin?
Yeah. I found out he's my cousin like last year. We were like, my dad
really?
figured it out. Yeah, it's weird. Like he's been like rapping in the city forever, and he's like, "Yo, do you know this one rapper?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he explained to me like how he's my cousin, and we worked it out. We're like, "Oh fuck, bro, that's fucked." And then we made a song together like this year.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, I made that like Remember My Name track. We just finished that like about a month ago.
Music brought you guys together. That's
Yeah, man.
That's a dope thing. So so like that was a pretty good list. I was gonna say Maloney, he's from Brantford here, but in the same area.
Yeah.
Same area. I'm definitely feeling his new video too. He's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Burns. We're gonna Bristow on next, and I'm gonna talk to him because he admitted last week that Burns is his favorite rapper, which
Oh man, fuck! Now you made me feel bad too. Yeah, because like Bristol too, man. Because like Bristol's, especially right now, man. Like Bristol's doing it big. Like he's going all out for his videos, and he's killing it right now too.
For
With
sure.
that last video, I'm like, fuck, they got a Lambo. Like that's not in my budget, but
Right? Right, I thought that was definitely fire.
graffiti walls and smoking cigarettes in front of a camera. I'll just do that for a bit until I can afford a Lambo.
Hey, man, if you end up doing a lot of takes, that's a lot of cigarettes. That can cost you quite a bit too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the res is still open, man. We're good.
Oh, yeah.
That's how people do in the fucking Steel City.
So,
Can't afford $17 cigarettes.
what is your brand of cigarettes?
When I can afford them, I smoke these. These are like the John Player's Rich.
Okay.
And then I just got joints from that right now. But usually I smoke these. These are like putters. These are like the Cadillac of red smokes. So like if you can't afford fucking store smokes, like you pay $40 for a carton of these instead of the $10 bags, right?
Right. You got to break down
I
the.
gotta quit it, man. I got asthma and I rap and like I shouldn't be smoking. I started smoking about a year ago, but I quit for a long time. I was like a health nut for a while, and going to the gym.
Yeah, wait, and you still came back to cigarettes?
Yeah, like just I just find like anytime like life kind of gets stressful, man. Like I kind of go back to old habits sometimes, and then I go get out of it.
Oh, sure.
Like cigarettes is definitely a good thing. I think for like a lot of people they struggle with, man. Like they'll like I know a lot of people that they'll quit for like 5-10 years, and then they like go back and then they quit again. And,
yeah. Yeah. So, as far as like Hamilton, what is like what is your favorite part about Hamilton, and what is your worst favorite part about Hamilton?
I don't know, man. Like I think I just love the city because it's like familiarity and like I like the people here. Like to be honest, man, I hated this fucking city for a long time, and then in my early 20s, I moved out to Edmonton for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I just felt like an alien then, man. Like, I started to realize, I'm like, fuck, I got to be with my people. Because it's a whole other world in like other parts of the country. And you kind of, there's a lot of things you take advantage that you kind of take for granted, right? That you loved about your home that you didn't notice until you leave. And I think you kind of, so I don't know, man. Yeah, I think it's just the familiarity, like, you know, like, Hamilton has a lot of like staples and a lot of like, you know, things that make them Hamilton. You know, like you go to Easterbrook for a hot dog, or you go to fucking Irving Stadium to go to a Ticon game, or like there's just things that like you grew up with that like you end up loving about the city. And just, you know, if you're born and raised here, you get it, I guess. But I don't know. Were you born and raised in Brantford?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about Brantford here is that I realized like I used to always hear everybody talk shit about it. They were like, oh, Brantford ain't this, Brantford ain't that, it's fucking garbage, fucking blah blah. And I always thought people were like over exaggerating. I was like, oh man, whatever. And then when I started doing this, I started going out to, like even like before this, when I started going out to like other cities and trying to like put my name out there, and like I'd hear other people's stories from like their towns and shit like that, and I'd be like, you know what? Maybe Brantford is a fucking shithole. Like fucking. So like,
I don't know, man. I remember I used to I had a girlfriend in Brantford, man. I used to go to Brantford a lot, and this was years ago. But like, whenever I tell her friends that I'm like, oh, I'm from Hamilton, they'd be like, ugh, like, cause just Hamilton has that like. That reputation around, or if you're in town around.
I got the same thing out in
And then I get offended. I'm like, this is fucking Brantford. Like Brantford has that same reputation. Like you can't.
Yeah.
Like, this is a pot calling the kettle black. You can't fucking do that to me.
Yeah,
but,
I got the same thing out in Kitchener and London. When people ask where I was from, I was like, oh, Brantford. Like, oh. I was like, okay. You know, but I find Brantford and Hamilton are very because different cities have like different vibes and stuff like that. But I find like Brantford and Hamilton are very like very similar. It's like Hamilton's like a bigger Brantford.
Hamilton's a very like blue collar. It started out as like a very blue collar steel city. Like the majority of people that had worked here is from the steel plants or fab shops. A lot of welders, a lot of steel workers, dock work in the North End and all that. And like it was just like a hard-working roughneck town. Cheap rent, like just a place you go to work and drink and that's it. But since like in the last like few years, it's cleaned up a lot, and then they started doing the art crawls, and now they're doing like James North, which is just a whole street of his restaurants, and we have Hess Village with the bars, and just basically they turn it into like an art city, and then now it's like just a sub hub for Toronto, which kind of really sucks for everybody who grew up here because rent has gone through the roof like fucking doubled. I know it probably has in Brantford too. And it's because it's just gotten way too expensive to live in Toronto, so people are moving here now, and they've cleaned it up a lot, right? But so it's good, it's nice because you don't see like all the drugs and all the fucked up shit that you see in the downtown core as much. But at the same time, though, like it sucks because you got to make quite a bit of money to fucking make ends meet in the city now.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So like this you have the new project. We got title.
Yeah, I got a new song that Tiller's working on. Like I just did a video on the weekend or a couple of days ago, and he's actually finishing it tonight. He's gonna send me it tonight. It's coming out on December 12th on the Saturday, and it's supposed to air at 12 noon. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's gonna be crazy. I think it's gonna piss a lot of people off, and at the same time, I think a lot of people are gonna think it's dope. Like it's very face. Like I don't know if you've seen like some of the photos from the set. Like it's gonna fucking shock people. I'm excited for it.
That's definitely I was always told like if you're gonna do something like entertainment wise, it either has like people if somebody's on the fence about something, then like it's not really that good of content. Like like either somebody will like hate it or love it. If it's really good content, so like it really kind of like I like people that trying to make shit like the sparks the brain, right? Like it's not like you're saying like, oh man, like it's either gonna like people are gonna love it or they're gonna hate it. I love that. I hate when people are on the fence about things, and it just means something like if people are on the fence, it just means like the shit's like mediocre, right?
Well, there's a lot of different ways that you can go at marketing, right? And how you want to market yourself. So, you can be that person that, you go and pay a lot of money to market yourself. You can grind all day on Facebook, liking photos or Instagram, liking photos and posts and talking to people. And I do all that. But at the same time, though, like it helps you a lot, man, to make content that gets people talking. So like, if I post something that's semi-controversial, or if I make music that kind of just gets people talking, or or gets people like just to bring up a subject, like even on Facebook, man, I'll just bring up subject, like like I'll just bring up something that I know is going to get everybody talking, that's going to spark a buzz, or troll somebody or whatever. Like all of that is very smart. Like, if you look at like some of the best marketers in the world, like like for example, right now, like Tekashi 6ix9ine, like I hate that guy. I'm not a fan of his music. But like he's super smart because he just gets everybody talking all the time. He posts something that he knows is going to get buzz. So
yeah, there's like there's a thin line for that. Like you can do it like where like people like really yeah, because if you cross the line too much and you start doing some like people don't really like it, but like if you're doing shit that makes people talk about it and kind of like agree with you on some of the shit, and like that's an amazing thing.
You have to do it in a very smart way. Like, I'm controversial in a smart way. I'm not like a hateful person. Like, most of the time, man, I'm just joking around, but like, you know what I mean? But like, I do a lot of offensive humor. I do a lot of deep song, and it's not all just that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have that song, Last Words. That's like my new single, that the last video I did. And like, it's one of Burns' favorite songs. He talks about it all the time. Like, anytime I'm like, yo, like, what's your favorite song that I've ever, like, he loves that song. He always brings it up. He loves the guitar in it, like, whatever.
Yeah,
but like, the whole song is the most positive, you know, uplifting, like, you know, and sad. Like, it just gives you a whole like slew of emotions. It's all about mental health, and like, you know, something that I've struggled with a lot in my life. And you know, I'll do a song like that, but then on the other hand, though, I got another song that's just about fucking bitches and gangster shit, like, and
right, like
because no one wants to listen to a whole fucking, who wants to listen to a whole album where it's just depressing real shit all the time? You know, you don't want just that. And you also just don't want a guy who's just talking shit all the time, you know, or is just saying things because it's defensive.
Like all of us are like we're different at different times. Like, we have a lot of things to us. Like me, like in this interview right now, like I smoked some weed beforehand, so I'm just chill. Me here and me compared to like when I go to work, that's like different kind of like a different type of vibe, right? Me when I'm out chilling and I'm having drinks and shit like that, I'm on a whole different kind of vibe too, right? So like I think the key is to kind of let people into like all of the like all of yous, right? If you just show them all, just like
I give you me with no filter, right? Like, I'll give you like just the raw, like, this is from my heart what I'm feeling, you know, like, so everybody has different emotions all the time. You're not always gonna have a happy song, you're always gonna have a sad song, like, because you're not always happy, you're not always sad, sometimes you're pissed off. Like, just anytime I have an emotion, I'm gonna write about it. So, you know, if I'm really pissed off that day, I'm just gonna go write some angry ass verse, and I'm gonna get that shit out of me, and then it's gonna be a really killer song, and there's a positive out of a negative, you know. And then, you know, or, you know, if I'm just stoned and I'm having a good time and I just want to make a chill smoke song, I'll make a chill smoke song. If I'm sad and I'm depressed, I'm gonna make a really depressed song, you know. And any way that I do it, like, people are going to relate to it in a different way, and like, it gives you a different emotion. Like, I want people to have to listen to an album, and, you know, they go through 10 tracks, and like, you've seen every side of me at that point. Right? It gets people closer to you as an artist.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They relate to like the human side of you, right?
Yeah, man, you're giving people something, because that's the big problem I think nowadays, man, with these new rappers, that they're just like, they're just giving you what's catchy, and like, you don't really get to know who they are. They don't even know who they are, man, because they're just making this character, and that's what they sell you. And I want to give people more than that, man, because that's how you get dedicated fans. That's how you get people that follow you to the end. You know what I mean? Whereas like, people are just gonna throw those Trippie Reds and those Lil Pumps and everything out the window in a couple of years, because they get the next Lil Pump, you know, or the next Trippie Red or whatever. I'd rather have 1,000 fans that buy an album every month, or not every month, every year or whatever, you know, buy a t-shirt every once in a while, and those people are dedicated to me, man, than to just like make one hit song, make $1 million, and then call it a day. Right.
For sure. You mentioned shirts. Do you have Josh Fisher shirts?
Yeah, I signed up for like Redbubble, and I was gonna do it that way, but like, I wasn't happy with the prices. I started looking into like, they were charging like $12 for shipping and all that stuff. So I was gonna talk to you about that while we were here too. I'm like, I was gonna talk to Diablo too, because Diablo supposedly has like a really good connect for that as well, for merch. But like, I think I'm just gonna do it your way, right? Just buy a box of merch and try and sell it.
Yeah, for sure. I think the key is, I was telling Burns last week, to have it at a good price and have lots of different colors.
Yeah,
because the different colors. Because like, if you have a different price, and then like, feel like because like I know certain people like Diablo. Like if you want him to buy something, it has to be white with blue print.
Yeah,
right?
And like, what you have for like your Eddie G is smart, man, because they're only using 2 different inks, really. Like, is what you got there: white, green. And
Yeah.
that makes it cheaper too. Because if I want like a full photography, like a full photo print, that
Yeah.
costs them a lot more, right? Because then they're using like all kinds of different ink, and then that just I got to try and make it affordable, but still a good quality for
This
my
is
fans,
vinyl,
right?
and
Yeah,
this is vinyl.
yeah,
It just cuts from the vinyl, so it's pretty cheap. It's pretty
yeah,
dope. Yeah,
yeah. We could talk more about that for sure. Like
for
I
sure.
definitely want to get into the merch game, man, because that's where you make your money, right?
I'm trying to get all my people that are artists and entertainers and stuff like that to get on their merch because like I want to be like support this shit. Like right now I got Stacy Brizzle shirt on.
Yeah,
Yeah, Stacy
yeah,
Brizzle
man.
shirt
Like I
on.
was one of the first guys to start getting into DistroKid and like the Spotify and everything, and like I think I've like converted quite a few people now into like you got to get on the media platforms and you got to get on the merch and you got to get on and like that's something I got to get on too because I've been slacking on that. It's not getting shirts and
For sure, for sure. I definitely slacked on it for years, and like when I started hitting, it was like, oh shit, like these people have been asking for years, right? But yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Chantel, you're definitely getting the Eddie GTV tank. Uh, so Josh, so when you want an Eddie GTV shirt, do you want a purple one? Do you want a pink one?
You got black. I don't really wear
I
colors.
got, see what I was saying? Like people have their thing, right? Um, Detox, like I said to him, he's like, it has to be a black shirt with a white print, and
Yeah,
like,
man, I'm all about black. Like
yeah,
that's the old school thing, right? About me, but
right, right. I think
yeah,
it's I always heard we'll switch it up but I always heard like when you walk in a room like if like a bright color shirt can change like just like the perception of you like the mood it can kind of lighten things up and like even like walking into a room if your shoulders are kind of like your posture is
yeah,
better than
man. How you walk into a room is a big thing. Yeah, like
right
your
and like
shoulders back. And,
if you're always wearing dark colors, it can kind of like, you know, have people like a perception of you, right? So
yeah.
me, I always like to switch it up. But yeah. So how long have you been working with Josh Tiller?
Um, Actually, man, just this year, Tiller did
Okay.
my first like video with him or whatever. I did that last words video.
Okay.
We just filmed a video, my second video with him. But like he's one of the cool man. Honestly, like him and Schwa, like like Schwa Duran, like those guys have
Yeah.
been amazing with me, man. Like they're two of the nicest guys I've ever had to work with, man. And like they're super chill. Like we never have arguments. Like I give them my vision and like they just get it. Like it's been a really good relationship and like
Thanks.
and with Burns too, man. So it's great. Like those guys help me out with everything I can't do, and then everything else I do on my own, and it's a good system I got it going.
Definitely like in this game, you definitely need a team. Like I don't know how many times I've been frustrated with like things of like I have a vision and try and tell somebody something, and they're like, oh, like this, like that. And it's like, no, not like that. Like, it's like
Well,
I'm trying to explain to
you
you,
need a
like,
dedicated team of people that care about it like you do, man. Like, because
right,
there's a
exactly,
lot of people that will just take your money and then they'll give you a half-ass product back. Like Burns, man. Like if I don't like something, like with my recording, like he's like, cool, man. Like let's get it done, and he fixes it right away, and we're cool. And like there's never any issue with that, man. There's never any beef with
right,
it. Like I've worked with some other people. They're like, oh yeah, man, I'll mix it, and then they take 2 weeks to mix it, and then like they give you back a half-ass piece of shit, and then you're like, hey, man, I don't like the way I sound on this, or let's change this or that, and then like now you're being picky, and they gave you a good price, and it's a bunch of bullshit, right? So like I'm
right.
super happy that I have a good team. Like
Yeah, definitely. You need people like that are willing to listen and put in the time and make sure like shit's right. Because like like I hate when like like there's something out that like I let slip by and really like put like 100% into it, and then like sometimes I see some of that stuff and I'm like, I cringe. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, man, because it's out there forever, and if it's something that you hate, like that's just gonna bother you for the rest of your days. There's videos I got out there, man, that I've featured with some people, man, that I've asked to take down, and like it bothers me to this day that I'm like, fuck, I hate this old shitty music that like I don't want anyone to see that's out there, right? Like, and it sucks because like if you show people your new stuff that's really good, like they'll go down that rabbit hole, and eventually they're gonna find that stuff from years ago that you didn't want anyone to see, right? Like.
Me, I still even have some shit on my own channel that's cringeworthy to me. But you know what?
Yeah.
It's me. It's me. I'm gonna leave it there. You know what? I did that. That was part of this journey. This is part of what got me here. You know. So like, I'm gonna leave it up there because I actually got that from like I deleted one of my old music videos and somebody came up to me one day and it was like, oh man, like I used to listen to that all the time. I was like, really? Like they're like, oh, I really like that song, and like you deleted it. I'm like me. I hated it, but I was like, I learned from there. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna delete any more shit. If it's up there, it's up there. You know, because like even like you probably have you probably have friends of yours that their favorite song of yours is probably not your favorite song.
Well, I think you start to hate, like, once a song gets to a certain age, man, you hate everything you do because you've heard it so many times, man. It becomes annoying. Your own voice becomes annoying to you. Like, I think, like, the time I even release an album or I release a song, like, I've already kind of got to the point where I'm like, fuck, I'm tired of hearing this. I'm tired of rapping this. Like, because you have to do it so many times, man, like, and before it even gets out. Because you have to practice it a bunch of times, and then you got to record it a bunch of times, and then you got to, you know, it's just a long process. And then, like, it's like, remember back in the day, like Nirvana, like when Nirvana had, like, Smells Like Teen Spirit?
Yeah.
And then, like, that became, like, their song that they just couldn't fucking stand anymore because, like, that was just the song everyone wanted them to play. You know, and I'm sure it was the same way with, like, Lynyrd Skynyrd and Freebird, you know, like, play Freebird! And that's just, like, a joke now. Like,
Yeah, definitely. Like I had a song "Liquids," which is like probably one of my least favorite songs I've ever done my entire time, right? But everybody at my work heard it, and like every time there was a big spill, oh, it's all about the liquids. And then like anytime like somebody new would start, like everybody was like, oh, AG has a song called "The Liquids." So somebody would come up to me and ask me like, "Oh, what's the song you got, The Liquids?" And I'd be like, "Oh man, I got a whole bunch of other shit like, but like."
Yeah. It's like, don't worry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone always like talks to me about like battles, like, yo, like, didn't you like? And they talk about my battles and they want to watch my battles, and like, I hate my battles. Like everyone always asks me about that, man. I'm known for that, I guess. Like, and like I hated, like I always thought I sucked. Like a lot of people liked them. Like a lot of people like compliment me on them, and they come up to me and they're like, "Yo, man, I loved those battles you did back in the day and everything." Like I listen to them now and they're cringy and so like yeah, like it's something. You're right. Like something that you hate can be something that somebody loves about you, right? There's that one song that people will remember you by or what that they love about you.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's cool. People can like something that you hate. That's no problem, and at least they enjoyed it. But
I think you just mentioned when people say like they want to watch it with you. I actually like even my content that I like. Yeah. I don't want to sit there and watch it with somebody.
No, me neither, man. And because like I'm my biggest critic, I'm always like apologizing for like what I'm showing them before I show them. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, no, I'm just letting you know, like, this is old, like, I'm a lot better now, or, like, this, you know, like, this isn't as good as my other shit I got. Like, let's listen to this good shit first, or, like, you know, I kind of, like, prepare them for this fucking, and then they end up loving it, and it's like, I just hated on myself, and I didn't need to do all that, but.
Right, you know? And, like, people have definitely pulled up, like, my interviews when we're at parties and shit, and we're drinking. Oh, like, yeah. This one right here, when you do that, and we start watching it, and it's like, yo, we're sitting around drinking, like, you know, like, yeah. I don't want to watch my interview with you right now, you know. But
yeah, because it's weird, man. Like it's weird watching yourself back, and doing all
Like
that.
me, I have no problem like watching by myself and like kind of like looking at like
Yeah.
learning. Like sometimes I'll go back and watch my old shit just to like learn from shit, right?
Yeah.
I'm by myself when I do that. It's just like a whole weird feeling like when somebody there is there with me.
Man, I really enjoyed that podcast that you do with Maloney, like that No
Yeah,
Condom
on
podcast.
the
I
podcast.
watched like episode 75 or something this morning, is like because I was just like looking at some of your stuff like before the
Yeah,
interview and so on. And you guys were talking about this like chick that ate like 4 jars of mayonnaise, and I felt so fucking sick to my stomach just listening to you guys talk about it. And then like while you're talking about it, I'm picturing someone eat and then I'm thinking about like what it would be like to put a spoonful of fucking mayonnaise in your mouth and
yeah,
like just the texture. Like I'm a texture person, man. Like I'm
yeah,
person
for
like
sure.
I get mad if you put tomatoes on my sandwich. I'm like, fuck that. Like I throw that shit off and it ruins it too. Like I get mad about it because I'm like, now you got tomato juice on my sandwich. Like I'm
Right.
picky, right? And so like just the thought of that is just made me want to throw the fuck up. Like, but it's cool, man. Like it makes me want to
Yeah,
do podcasts. Like I got a podcast I'm trying to work on with a couple of my buddies. Like we're gonna start doing like a comedy podcast because like we got all these funny stories from over the years of just doing shows and shit like that, and we never told anyone about it, right? So it'd be cool to have it out. But
you gonna have guests on there?
I might, yeah. If I didn't start doing it, like, if it's just, I got to make sure that they're going to be as dedicated. Like, I'm always dedicated to everything I do. Like,
Yeah.
I'm either like do it all in or don't. So as long as they're going to keep doing it with me, yeah, then it becomes a regular thing. I'm going to start getting guests and like try and get a following doing podcasting. But like, podcasting is huge for anything you do, man. If you're a musician or a comedian or anything you do, man, podcast is great because people get to know you like on a whole nother level, right? They have hours of your content.
There's so many different things you can pot about, right? Like
Yeah.
you know, like us, like
Yeah.
we've talked about like some of the most fucked up, like it's pretty much in the name, right? The No Condom Podcast. But yeah, we're definitely gonna be we're working out doing some new episodes of that. But yeah, if you ever need a guest, I'm looking out to branch out to be on like the guests on different podcasts and stuff like that. I think
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, for sure. Like I'll have a lot of my buddies on if that's what I start doing. But yeah, as long as they're willing to do it with me. Yeah, man. I've been a big fan of podcasting from the get-go too. Like I used to listen to Adam Carolla like when that was like the original shit. Like I love like Big J Okerson's podcasts and stuff like Bonfire and Nick Mullen and all those guys. Like they
Rogan's really good.
yeah, I love Rogan. Like
Yeah.
Rogan's taking a lot of heat right now, man. I've been reading a lot about that, about the Spotify thing, and I think that's pretty bullshit. Like, because it's like they knew what they were getting into because it's not like anything was different with his podcast before he started Spotify, right? And then now all of a sudden, like all these employees are protesting him and saying they have to censor him and everything, and I think that'll just be the death of him if they actually get through like and have to censor him.
You're right. Yeah, censoring is fucking bullshit, man. Like, I actually heard with Joe Button. I watch his podcast. I guess it was in their contract that Spotify couldn't change anything content wise, like on their episodes. But I don't know if it's the same thing with the Rogan contracts.
Well, I think he signed. I think it was in his contract that like they're not allowed to have any creative control whatsoever about his podcast. Yeah. So if that's the case, they're kind of fucked. They got their hands tied, right? Like,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, man. I'm a big fighter for freedom of speech. Like, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of the woke movement. Like I'm all about treating people equally and everything, but I don't know, man. I grew up in a time where like a joke's a joke, free speech is free speech. And like I grew up with people of all walks of life, man, and they all have different opinions, and like I could fucking hate your opinion, but that doesn't give me any right to silence you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't think anyone has the right to shut anyone up. And I think everybody should be able to say what the fuck they want, right?
Yeah.
Whether if you agree with it or not.
I mean, like, I think everybody should be able to have their own opinion and say things, but like, I don't got to tune into it.
Yeah, like I'm a very open-minded
You know,
liberal person. I
I-
agree with that. Everybody should be able to do whatever they want, but not everyone thinks that.
yeah,
And like, you know, and you also got to think, man. Some people are fucking old too. There's a lot of old people, like, you know, like your dad and your grandfather and all those people that they have way different worldviews because they didn't even grow up in the same kind of world we grew up in. So
exactly. And then there's these kids that are growing up now, and they're not growing up in the world that we grew up in. You know,
no,
I actually remember like burning CDs, and
yeah,
and going out and trying to like push it, and like they were trying. I remember trying to find a way to put my songs on Napster. When
yeah.
that shit first came out,
I used to do all that kind of stuff too.
I was like, how do I put my shit on here? You know, because
Yeah.
I was thinking ahead of the curve, but I was like, I couldn't figure it out because I was just a young kid. I really didn't know much.
But no one's gonna download your shit because you need seeds. Like you need like a group of like people
Yeah.
like
You need
seeding out your material.
Yeah. So I think I did
Yo,
manage to get out there.
do you remember do you remember Yahoo chat battles? Like they
Yeah,
had that shit too, like an MSN. Like they used to have those fucking group chat battles, like where people would like post their lyrics to each other.
yeah. No, I definitely remember.
That's how old I am. Like fuck, like I
Yeah,
that's how
man.
I started out with rapping. Like
You know what's one thing that I used to do is in those Napster, Winamp eras and shit like that.
yeah,
A lot of people didn't have CD burners, but a lot of people were burning CDs. So
yeah,
a lot of people go to one person and get them to burn all their CDs, right? So me,
yeah,
I was that guy. I had the CD burner, but I also made
yeah.
music. So what I would do is I download all the popular songs and I put it on a CD. But like every third song, I put one of my songs in there. So like when they're listening to it, they're like, okay, they're listening to shit they know, and then all of a sudden the fourth song comes on, and it's like me. They're like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah. Man, I used to like
I
burn
did.
movies and sell them to people and stuff. Like, did you have a mod chip when you were a kid? Like for like
No,
PlayStation and shit? Remember those days?
no, I didn't have the mod chip, no. But
No? Oh, fuck, man, that was great. Like for PS1, you used to be able to just get like the mod chip for them, right? And then like you have a guy that would just like have a list of all the video games and like he'd burn it for you for like $3 for a video game. So like video games were super cheap. And I would have like 1,000 PlayStation games. I was the kid on the block, man. I had like every kid in the neighborhood coming to my house because I had every single fucking video game you could think of. And I had the top Tony Hawk score. Like all the kids in the neighborhood would come over to my house trying to beat my fucking score. Like,
Tony Hawk was definitely a fire game.
yeah,
Fire
man.
game. Um,
Yeah, Dan, I
what
already
is
did.
it?
Sorry, my buddy. This is my buddy Dan. He's producing like a new EP I was talking about. And he's like, tell him about the album we're working on. It's already done. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah. So, what are your top 5 video games of all time?
Fuck. I don't know. Like Mike Tyson's Punch Out was like my childhood favorite. Like
Yeah, we got one. That's a fucking fire one.
that's a fire one. Battletoads for like
Yeah, I remember
Genesis.
Battletoads.
So that's what we're gonna work our way up. Like I don't know. Like Mario Kart, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Dude, like the 2-player. That
Yeah.
shit was fucking fire. Yeah, man. I don't know. I used to be really into Metal Gear Solid and like all the Tony Hawks and
Okay. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid in there. Did you have Tony Hawk? That's 5.
yeah.
Me,
Fuck.
I got I'll go through my 5. I got
I probably had some better ones if I had time to think about it, but
GoldenEye,
yeah.
GoldenEye, uh, Super Mario when it first came to like the Super Nintendo, the first one.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go just a Madden. I like the football games. And I go NBA Jam.
NBA Jam was a fire game for sure.
You're on fire. He's heating
Remember
up.
NBA Street? Even NBA Street was sick too.
NBA Streets was just for like
NFL Blitz, like.
I never really played Blitz too much, but like a couple times. The Streets I played a lot. It was like it was pretty good.
Who did you pick for? Who was your guy for Mario Kart?
Mario Kart. I go Toad.
Yeah, that's my guy too. So
Yeah.
you're smart. Toad was like the fastest guy in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You fucking dumb, like dumbass people pick Bowser, or like whatever. Like, who the fuck's picking Bowser?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Still to this day, like 'cause I drive a forklift. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I wish I could just like drop bananas like around like the plant.
Did you find you gained like a lot of weight when you started driving forklift?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a forklift driver for 4 years at a manufacturing plant, and they make bumpers and stuff for like Ford, and I gained, I think, like 70 fucking pounds or something like that, 75 pounds in like 3 years working there.
Yeah.
It sucks, man. Like, they don't even let you fucking get off your ass, and like I would work like 6 hours or something like that before I even get a break because like they're just so busy. Like quick, go.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's a good job. Like it's an easy job, but like it takes a
for
toll
sure.
on your body.
For sure, like definitely, like I really don't gotta think about it too much. Like I've thought of some of my best ideas for the show, like for like the content wise, like at work. I'm like, oh shit, like because like I don't really have to think about work because like I've been there for so long, so it's just like
Yeah,
really
yeah.
think about shit. So like I've thought about some of my best ideas and kind of like stuff I'm gonna do like outside of work when I'm there.
I always liked working like manufacturing. Like I kind of live the 8 Mile life, right? Like I'd work at like a factory, and I'm just like doing production lines or different fucking, like just monkey work, right? And those are the great, man, because that's when I come up with my best stuff because I'm just like making raps up in my head while I'm working or fucking, like I don't like working with people, man. So like that's a great job, right? Like.
Yeah, like
I've done office work and put on that fake smile and wear a suit, and like who wants to do that?
Right. I like wearing suits, but I wouldn't want to wear a suit every day.
Oh man, it's just an uncomfortable. I think it's an uncomfortable setting, man, when you can't just like feel relaxed at work, right? Like you're always tense and worried about what you got to say, like what you can say and what you can't say, and like.
Sure.
I always loved that about like working in like manufacturing or like steel or, I've worked at scrap yards and done all kinds of, demolition, and those kind of jobs are great, man, because you can smoke and swear and fucking be yourself, and
Right.
it's just, working with the guys, right?
For sure. But yeah, we're coming up on an hour. Instagram's gonna cut us off. But I think we've definitely had a dope talk. Like we'll have to do this again.
Yeah.
Definitely. And definitely send me the links to the video when it comes out.
Man, I will, for sure. You guys can find me on all the platforms. I'm on everything. So YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all that shit. All my music sites are pretty much just Josh Fisher Music. So pretty much any site you can think of / Josh Fisher Music. That's all you find me.
Cool.
It's cool, man. I'm glad. I've fucking been a really long time. This is long overdue.
For sure. And you're there at fucking South Bay Studios.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I fucking love this place.
One last thing. Are you guys recording tonight?
Nah, I don't know. I think I'm just chilling tonight. I didn't bring anything, so.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. All right,
I have a
man.
lot more coming soon, though. I'll keep you posted, brother.
All right. Tell Burns to fucking throw out that tobacco.
Nah, yeah. It's got kicked. All right, man.
All right.
Peace, brother.
Peace.